I pushed every button. Hold on.
This is like the little kid pressing every button in the elevator.
Yeah, I'm basically the little kid in the elevator. Here, let's try this again. 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Aloha.
May just leave that in.
Shout out Pearl Harbor, by the way.
Whoop, whoop. Best intro in the business. Hello and welcome. We are back from theballerlifestyle.com. It's the Baller Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Brian Beckner. This is episode number 553 of the show. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you listening. If by chance we've been gone, well, we skipped a week, but I replayed an old show and I realized I had never listened to that show because that show, first of all, was recorded at it actually was the night my marriage ended. Just for like, I've never really talked about this, but it was like, that was it. That was the fire. Like there were tears shed prior to me starting the show because somebody wanted to tell me about their workday. And I got three drunk guys in my house and fucking Ed Daly on the line. And look, anyway, I didn't think it was a very good show. I'll be honest. It was such a mess. Poor Ed's 3,000 miles away. Everybody's talking at the same time. Chris Morales is there. Oh, I'm talking about our Boogie Nights review. If you haven't listened, I reran it last week because it was a tough week. We just couldn't. I was waylaid, so I couldn't make a new show last week. So for Thanksgiving, Pete Schlitsky pointed out it had been 5 years since the Boogie Nights episode. I reran it. I listened to it. It's pretty fucking good. It's a good episode. We do a good job. It's funny. And everybody does a good job on it. Even Jay Stu, who the whole time is trying to talk about something else for some reason. And also, Jay Stu and Chris Morales claim that Boogie Nights is their favorite movie. And they had no clue that Dirk and Jesse were a couple. They lived together. They went to his house. They go to his house. He gives everybody a house tour. Ed points out that he's a house tour guy. Very funny. And Jesse's living there and she's working in oils and painting oils of Dirk and they're hanging throughout the house. And Jay Stu and Chris Morales, who have seen that movie hundreds of times, were like, I don't think that's true. I don't think they're a couple. And I'm like, I'm listening to my car and I'm like banging my head on the fucking dashboard. Anyway, my name is Brian Beckner. I'm joined as always by Mr. Ed Daly. Ed, how the fuck are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. I never listened to that episode.
You should listen to it. It's up. It's good.
Yeah, I remember very little about that.
You're good. You're good on it. And there was a high degree of difficulty because there's all these drunk people and Chris Morales it seemed like he wanted to have sex with you. He was very interested in your role on the show. And it's a great show.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's very good.
I was excited over Thanksgiving week. I heard some great news for our buddy Lala. State of Louisiana has cut income taxes and corporate income taxes, and the money just they're raising raising sales tax to pay for it. So it's like
It's like this. It's like this.
It's great.
Yeah.
Instead of like slowly shifting things around, it's like,
straight.
I promise you, you're always gonna pay for it. Tariffs, everything. You're gonna always be paying. The little guy pays for everything.
Well, people go, and we don't get political here. But I
didn't say anything about a political party. I just said
no. There is no.
Is replaced with sales tax.
No, everybody knows me. I'm an America bad guy. And everybody's like, socialism, fucking worst. It never works. It's never worked anywhere. The fucking taxes are so high. Look at all the fucking taxes you pay, dumb fuck. Like all you do is pay taxes every single day, and you don't get shit services for it. You know what you get? Big ass bombs that get dropped other places. You've like fuck socialism, fuck capitalism. You're getting fucked every single day of your life.
We don't do political commentary. Before the RIP segment, we luckily avoided Thanksgiving RIP. Danny Pintauro He posted that he had a scooter accident. I guess like it almost led to like maybe collapsed lung or something.
I mean, there might be, I doubt there's many, but there might be a couple people that are not of our generation that might not know who Danny Pintauro is. I, of course, do.
There was now we've broken down some bullshit shows in our day. This is the most bullshit.
Yeah. Yes.
There was a show where a single mother of a boy who was named Jonathan, but played by the actor Danny Pintauro. She was a single mom.
Did she work in advertising like your beautiful wife, Michelle?
Yeah.
She was a widow. Yeah.
I believe she was an ad exec.
Yes, she was in Connecticut.
And they're in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And the premise is she's got a boy who's like 10.
Yeah.
Like he's not 1.
Yes.
10. Yes. She's got her horny mother living over the garage.
She was a horny old lady. She was like our age. She was like 52.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mona.
So super horny. That just like wanted to fuck every episode. Like in front of her 10-year-old grandson.
Yes.
She's like,
totally.
man.
Yeah. She's like,
I
got railed last night. Yeah.
So then this is the big premise. He was fresh off of a big role on Taxi. Tony Danza, this is his starring vehicle. He's hired as a housekeeper.
Yeah.
And like, so he like vacuums and shit. He's like, oh, here's the catch. My 10-year-old or 12-year-old daughter is moving in. Yeah. So she's got 2 people living in her house because she needs some vacuuming while she's at her ad job.
And some meatballs and shit. Like he makes raviolis and shit while she's at work.
Yeah. So he can cook.
Yeah.
And then he's like weighing in on her parenting.
Yeah.
And then like I think by like season 4 they're fucking. So like this is the long game. She hired a mail order Danza.
Everything you've said is true, but you left out one very important detail.
That head first dive into home plate during this.
Yes, that is actually does play into it because he was way too serious about softball at one point. Because what were his qualifications to be a nanny, Ed?
I don't know.
He was an ex-ball player. He had no qualification. Like, why would you hire? First of all, he's an ex-ball player. The guy's 5'6". Okay, like, hold on. Tony Danza.
There's a famous Astro who's very small.
That's true. There's a couple. Okay, fair. But he blew out his knee, Gale Sayers style, whatever.
But the clip they show is he's the guy going way too hard at softball.
Yeah. He goes too hard. Yes.
He's Pete Rosing in the All-Star
because he threw him a meatball. So he had, not only was he a male nanny, a manny to a nearly adult, so like a 4th grader, but also he had no nanny qualifications, which is fucking because everybody was on so much cocaine. They're like, this is the show. Well, what if we had a ball player nanny with Tony Danza? They're like, yeah, go for it.
Jonathan was at latchkey age.
Yeah, he was fine. They live in Connecticut,
It was a safe neighborhood. They didn't need it. And suddenly he's bringing his daughter in who's going through puberty and like they have to go bra shopping and shit like that.
Oh, Ed. I mean, what a time.
Men of a certain age. That's the first crush.
Remember she had those eye teeth, like these teeth and
canines.
Yeah, the canines were like kind of hadn't like come down, and I was like, I thought that was so hot. She's our age, or she's a little bit older than us. Yeah,
those imperfections made her great.
She was what a babe.
Just like Jennifer Grey's nose.
Oh, beautiful.
It made her great, and then she gets a nose job, and she's just generic actress.
Just looks like everybody else. Yeah. Yeah, and her old man played Chun. Okay, Ed, look, there's been a lot of discussion. We weren't here last week. We got a big show to get to. We're going to get to all of it. But I need to address the elephant in the room because people have been talking. They're like, what's going on? And I've always been honest with the audience. So yes, it is true. I got something really weird going on in this left eye. Look at it. You see that? You see that?
Kinda.
You on YouTube? It's gone down a lot in the last couple of days because I went to urgent care. I came home on Thanksgiving. Okay, was Thanksgiving. Had a nice Thanksgiving at my aunt's house. Although, shout out to my Aunt Teresa because I go to her house twice a year, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Been probably going to her house for Thanksgiving and Christmas since I'm, I don't know, 6 years old. I'm nearly 50. Every single holiday I go over there, there's major confusion on the remote and how to get this game on the TV. Just put the game on. It's on Foxx. It's on channel 11. Just get us to channel 11.
We're not talking about a weird streaming service. These are the most basic
Fox.
channels.
Yeah, just put it on. Just put it on. And at one point, I asked my sister. My sister's there. I go, one game was on NBC Peacock, and I go, do they have Peacock? And she's like, everyone has Peacock. And I'm like, I don't know what people have. And it's like, I got to get my cousin. You know, my aunt's just standing there pushing, I don't know, pushing buttons. And I got to get my cousin and she's cooking, and my cousin's got to come out and figure every year with the remote. Like, hey, Brian's coming over. Everyone's coming over. They're going to want football on the TV.
It's just a known thing for Thanksgiving.
Yes, but also, like, you live there every day. You have a fucking 75-inch TV. Like, you're obviously watching a lot of television. Know how to work it. Like, how do you live day to day with the TV situation? I don't know. Were we talking about something before that? Did I interrupt you? I can't remember.
No. We were
okay.
talking about Pintauro.
Oh yeah. So what? He ate shit on a scooter?
Yeah, he ate shit on a scooter.
Yeah, what happens?
He had the choice. He made it seem like something came out of nowhere, but it's like, well, you were controlling your speed, and he's like, I had a choice between a car or a pylon. I chose the pylon, and I got fucked up.
You also had a choice not to ride a scooter.
Still being alive.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about you.
And we know he wasn't impaired because we know he had a bad meth problem in the 90s, and he got cleaned up. He was on one of those
he was struggling with his identity.
He's gay. Yeah.
But he has a husband. I read he's married. I know more about Pintauro today than I knew for the last 30 years.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, luckily, Pintauro's alive, and I believe I've survived this eye situation. I can tell you what it is.
Did it hurt, or is it like closed kind of thing?
Yes, that's what we're talking about. So it felt like something was in it. I'm like, oh, I got something in my eye.
Did you pour olive oil in it?
No, that was
when you got it in your ear?
It was a bug in my ear. A thing flew in my ear. We put the olive oil in it. It drowned the thing.
Then you didn't take a shower.
I'd already taken a shower. I pre-showered.
You had olive oil in your ear.
Yeah, it's true. So I got like a thing, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I got pink eye. And I was like, I got to go to the thing. So I messaged my doctor's office because it's Friday. I messaged my doctor's office. I'm like, hey, can I come in, or can you just call me in some drops? I got pink eye. And I know what people are saying. Oh, because everyone's seen Knocked Up, and they go, oh, pink eye, that comes from eating ass. And it can come from that. Okay, that's not the only way you get pink eye. It's bacteria in your eye, which could potentially come from eating ass. But
it usually comes from keyboards,
touching.
And from touching something.
Finger
how
smash.
How about every store you go to? Where you got to touch the touch screen. Yes. Oh, do you want a tip? All this.
The gym.
Pink eye floating out there.
Yeah, it's out there. So I thought I had pink eye. So I go, hey, can you give me some stuff? And then I remembered that a child that I live with had pink eye a couple years ago, and we had the drops still. So I go, oh, I'll do the drops. Well, the drops didn't do shit. It didn't get better. So I went into urgent care, and I'm like, look, because it's like all inflamed.
But does it hurt, or is it more like it just like closes up?
Yeah, it's just kind of irritating. Doesn't really hurt. Turns out, and it's like, this is a disgusting word, but I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say this word. It's a sty, right? It's like something in like either the tear duct or the eyelash gets clogged. There's like a clogged thing. So I have to compress it and then put a little salve on it. It's getting better. But look, I know people have been talking, right? And look. If you're on YouTube, look at that. Huh? That's it. Hey, I'm honest, okay? I got a thing, and it's not cute, all right? It's gross. Ed, let's see if I can try to figure out the thing, and we could play the RIP song. Okay, you ready?
Or play all 10 songs.
Either or. Look, I just start pushing buttons. Okay, let's talk about people who died.
Just tell us who was dead now. Who died? Breaking news. Update. Who died? Just tell us who was dead now. Who died? It's a sad segment. Very sad. And it will not be an update on who's alive. Nope. Let's get a tragic update.
Tragic update.
Cause Ed Daly has been keeping up on who just died. Yep. Cause we're about to hear from Ed on which celebrities are dead. So tell me who died. Who died?
Ed.
Tell me
Who died?
First up, we lost somebody who I'm happy for him that he made it to Y2K. I didn't know. I met him. I got his autograph in the late 80s.
At the Garden?
No, he was doing a basketball clinic. I was in like middle school, maybe even fifth grade.
Yeah.
It was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And he looked like he was melting. Like he was Chris Mullin's coach when they made the Final Four, St. John's coach, Lou Carnesecca.
Yeah.
99 years old.
Wow.
Congrats on a long run, Lou.
I mean, it's crazy that St. John's in New York City is not a fucking powerhouse of basketball every single season, especially with all that finance money. Yeah.
They play in the Garden.
Yes. Like it's insane that they're a third tier. They've had some runs over the years, but it's been a fucking while. Like St. John's should be one of the better teams.
The last time they were like pretty substantial was like Ron Artest was there.
Yeah. Yep.
It's been
Queensbridge.
A long time.
I know. R.I.P. Lou Carnesecca. But not R.I.P. to Chris Mullin's haircut, which I assume he still has, the flat top.
You can set your watch to that.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Just like Johnny Unitas.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Wayne Northrup.
Yep.
Dynasty and Days of Our Lives actor. 77 years old, Alzheimer's. The Soapicide is back.
Yeah. Once we start losing
took
these,
a little fall dip, and we're back.
We had a lull in soap opera deaths, but now they're dying again. And you start losing one, they come in like sixes. They say they come in three. These soap opera guys, 6, 7 at a time they go.
Well, think about it. They shoot so many shows per week.
Yeah.
They can't just go in threes.
No.
They gotta go in sixes.
Yeah, exactly. Twice as many.
This segment, it really started because we just wanted to honor some famous people from our past or some newsworthy. And so when somebody dies, I flag it for the show.
Sure.
And I saw a headline at Alabama A&M was announcing that this player wasn't dead. And so I put him down. I said, he'll definitely be dead.
That's right.
By the time. Anytime that happens, they're on the clock, like 18 hours left.
And it's of all the things, like your Johnny Depp impression, your just general knowledge of things that they all impress me. You do many things that impress me, but your ability to point out that somebody being announced as not being dead will die soon it's uncanny. It's quite an ability.
Clarice.
Yes.
But this is about as awful as it gets.
Very sad.
20-year-old Medrick Burnett Jr. He suffered a head injury in an October game against Alabama State, and he died 20 years old.
Yeah.
Just awful.
That's very awful, and it's stunning that it doesn't happen 3 times a season.
It's stunning it didn't happen to Trevor Lawrence yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that guy should be in jail. The other guy, they're texting.
How does he not die from that? That is a powerful shot as he's just completely unprotected.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that doesn't happen more.
Directly to the face. Yeah, that was horrible.
R.I.P. Colin Peterson, the original drummer of the Bee Gees, 78. So it was the Gibbs, but they just provided the harmony.
Yeah.
There always had to have someone outside the Gibb family.
That's right.
And he was the first, 78 years old.
Very sad.
4 days later, R.I.P. Dennis Byron, Bee Gees drummer from 73 to 80. He was 76 years old.
Kind of
ironic. He was drumming.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the song he's probably most famous for is "Staying Alive." They both died in the same 4-day span.
Kind of bullshit of that first guy to die. I got to be honest, because it's kind of like Chang and Eng. We talk about Chang and Eng all the time, Chang goes, and Aang's gone like 12 hours later. Like, it's like you're not going to survive too long. And also, Chang, he was a drunk, and Aang, not a drinker, shared a liver. You know,
He's
like they were
fucking up my liver. What are you doing over there,
son of a bitch?
bastard?
Very
Yeah,
sad.
so-
R.I.P.
But and also, I read that like he didn't get his name on those 70s. Colin Peterson didn't get his name on those 70s hits.
They'll do
because
that.
it was like, no, it's just the Gibbs.
Yeah,
And somebody was playing drums.
that's right. You got to get those royalties. Yeah.
So I'm sure he did not get a huge payday for like Saturday Night Fever era.
Oh yeah, that's
when
bullshit.
he was the drummer.
Yeah, that's complete bullshit.
R.I.P. Jim Abrahams, Airplane, Naked Gun, and Hot Shots co-writer with. He was childhood friends with the Zuckers.
Oh yeah,
and he died 80 years old.
Man, those movies, the Airplane and Naked Gun. I mean, they're slapstick movies. They hold up to like just a lot of comedies. You know, like once you see the jokes, you can't like keep going back to the jokes. You know, you got to have new shit. And so it's once you've seen a comedy, it can't always be funny over and over again. But the Airplane and Naked Gun, I mean, it just never gets old. They're so good. They're so funny.
Last week, someone sent me the "Oh Stewardess, I Speak Jive" clip.
I've seen that.
I was like, this is fantastic.
Yes, cut me some slack, Jack. Yes, it's Barbara Billingsley.
Hang loose, blood.
Come on, it's so good.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
apparently, it was there was a story attached, and apparently, like they hired her, and she's like, "Sure, I'll do it," but she didn't really speak jive. She didn't really know what to do.
Yeah, she's
and
an
so
actress.
she went to lunch with those guys, and afterwards shot the scene.
Shut up!
Yeah.
What a legend, Barbara Billingsley.
R.I.P. Alice Brock, the namesake of Arlo Guthrie's
yes.
Alice's Restaurant, 83 years old.
Now that's
what I remember from that song. It's a long ass, boring song.
Yeah, it's
you
one of those.
Get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant.
That's all I know. It's one of those songs that everyone's like, "Oh yeah, the '60s, Alice's Restaurant." I couldn't fucking hum you a bar of it. I don't know nothing about it. I know there was Arlo Guthrie. He was Woody's brother. That's all I know.
But the thing about that, she owned a restaurant. She died. She's 83. She was a young entrepreneur. That song was like a million years ago. She's only 83. Yeah. She must have been.
She was like 17 running a restaurant.
Successful. What's going on?
Most songs from the 60s are about guys wanting to fuck underage girls. So like that would track that Alice's Restaurant falls into that category.
Finally, the hammer of the week, the biggest name, Mr. Chuck Woolery, dating game host, 83 years old. Yeah. He was the most game show host he could be.
He was.
He's also kind of a piece of shit.
He was. We'll see you in 2 and 2. He had that big ass Rolex. He'd be wearing that big ass Rolex all the time.
That Rolex. He found ways to you don't usually in conversation just like he would love to show it off. Yeah, and they're all kind of the same. Was it the dating game or the newlywed game that he was? I think it was a dating game that he was. Dating game where they would have the guys in the panels.
Yeah.
Newlywed.
Yeah.
Who was that guy? He always said did he say making Whoopi?
Whoopi. Yes. Yeah. What was his name? Jim? I don't remember.
He was a creepy dude.
Woolery was the dating game, and oftentimes they would have murderers on the dating game.
Yes.
There was one serial killer for sure, and it's surprising that there
were multiple murderers on there. And Chuck was actively hitting on the chick if he thought he could be the fourth contestant there. Like he was lobbing in grenades on that.
They're shooting multiple in a day. They'll shoot like 4 or 5 shows every day, and they shoot the whole season in 10 weeks or whatever. I mean, game show hosts the best fucking gig in the world.
Oh yes.
Like they write you everything to say. It's the same game every time. You just fucking throw to the next thing, and you work a regular day, and then you get 8 months off.
If you want to just get an idea of just how great a gig game show host is, as soon as Pat Sajak announced he was leaving, Seacrest, who has had a great gig, a well-paying gig, live with Kelly.
But he had to work every day in the morning.
And he actively lobbied and did everything he could to get that job.
Yeah.
Because that is you just plow out a few weeks and you're done for a year.
Now, I know you're a Jeopardy guy, which means
Yes.
you encounter at least some of Wheel of Fortune, depending on, because in some markets it's on first. In my market, it's on first, but some markets it's on after. Tell me, what's your like? Have you seen Seacrest out there? Is he like?
Have not.
Oh, okay.
Have not.
Yeah.
But
Sajak
I
was a
will.
man. Yeah.
He's kind of
Well,
Wolverine.
yeah, he talked shit to people. It was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a staple of that show.
Yeah.
But the thing that has nothing to do with anyone, and he seems like a good dude, I'm always shaken up when I happen to catch Price is Right. And this has been a while, but seeing deflated Drew Carey, it's just hard. Like, good for him because he's healthier than he was.
Yeah.
But it's hard seeing deflated Drew Carey.
Oh, he got in on the Zempic?
No, I think he got stapled years ago or something. He's got to be 70 pounds lighter than he used to be.
Yeah, wow. He's one of these guys. And look, so there's this guy. Speaking of music, there was this guy. He was a music producer, and he invented what's called the wall of sound. And his name was Phil
Spector.
Spector. I was going to say Rizzuto. His name was Phil Spector.
That's the Scooter.
And Scooter from the money store. For the money store. This guy Phil Spector. He was about 5'3", about 6'4" with the wig. Had a driver. Lived out in Alhambra in some castle for some reason. This dude was fucking rich, and
love guns.
He loved guns. He pulled a gun on the Beatles, I think, the Ramones. He had some interesting ways. But hey, so does Rick Rubin. These are his methods. He got a performance out of these guys. He was married to Ronnie Spector from the Ronettes.
When we did her RIP a couple of years ago, she talked about what hell that was.
Yes,
living with him.
Didn't have nice things to say.
Had cameras everywhere. Had her followed.
Eventually, Phil Spector, he goes out one night. He has his driver take him to Dan Tana's, where he has a salad and 2 rums and Coke. The bill was $60. He tipped $500 on a $60 tab. So later on, he took a hostess home from the House of Blues and shot her in the mouth. Sure. That tip, man, that tip.
That was a life changer.
Frank Sinatra, guy he was 5'4". He's from Hoboken. He's huge dick. He had to have special underwear designed to fit his dick. And we all know about Frank Sinatra. He was a talk singer. He would just fucking talk the words. Never wrote a song. Whatever. Very famous, handsome. Liked to fuck a lot. He drank Jack and Coke. He would order Jack and Coke, and he would pay with $100 bill every single time. It's my understanding, and keep the change. It's my understanding that Drew Carey is one of these guys. He walks into a coffee shop. Hey, I'd like a coffee. That'll be $4. $100 bill. Keep it. That's what
I've heard nothing but great things about him. I'm just saying, and I'm happy that he's healthier.
Oh yeah.
But speaking of game show hosts, it's a little jarring to see a guy who was famous, like he got famous for being a big guy.
What a gig.
And he's like deflated.
What a gig. He never has to go on the road.
Great gig.
Fuck, what a gig. Okay, Ed, it's fucking time. We ain't been here in a while. Let's talk some sports.
My name is Brian. They call me the other guy. I host a podcast show. I'll give hetero life a try. If you see something on my hand that makes you think I'm not a man, it's just my cool rings, you see. They're as sparkly as can be. A might old Troy on DVD.
Ed, I was like, we ain't done a show in 2 weeks. We did kind of an abbreviated show, and a lot of these assholes that have my phone number are like, oh, were you parked at a meter? Like, look, we, sometimes life gets up. We want to give you the entertainment. Life comes up, and we got, we did We do fucking 2 hours every week. Sometimes we do 45 minutes. We do too much. We give you too much. We give you too much. And then last week we didn't do a show. And so this week I'm like, fuck, I want to do a good ass show. And I'm like, I'm going to look at the stories and have some notes and shit. I'm going to have some zingers prepared. And then I was like, why start now? I'll just wait till Ed tells me the story and I'll give you a fresh reaction. So let's go. What happened this week in sports?
Well, so that the Bears-Lions game on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, wow.
Which that end game sequence, a collective nation was like, well, I guess Eberflus is getting fired tomorrow. Because, like, what?
I mean, no one on the whole team was like, hey, how about we call timeout or spot? Like, let's do something.
Yeah, if you're a player, you're allowed to call timeout.
Yes. They just let 30 plus seconds run off the clock at the end of the game.
Crazy.
They were in field goal range. They could have tied the game with a field goal.
And then he, in the post game, he's like, and we just knew we just had to take a shot at the end zone. You didn't take a shot at the end zone. You took a shot at the 10.
Yes.
There was no guarantee he was going to catch. If he caught it, he was going to get in the end zone. It was such a weird thing.
It was so stupid. It was unbelievable. So what happened in that game? Yeah.
And a big part of that.
Yeah, tell me.
Yes, the coach has to do it, but Caleb Williams, the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
He has to do something there.
Oh my God, Ed.
But there was a tell before this game.
Wow.
They're promoting the Thanksgiving game, so he eats corn on the cob.
Wow.
And the press conference, and he eats it the long way.
Wow.
He's deep throating a corn cob.
What is going on here? Hold on a second. Is there sound to this? Oh my God. Ed. Whoa.
That's a tell.
Look, one time many years ago, I was at the Orange County Fair and my child ordered one of those big ass corn dogs. It was like this big. And I, for a joke, took a bite of it and it in a very provocative manner. Yes. And this guy, Telly Two Putt, former guest of the show, Telly Two Putts, occasionally he'll just come through. He saved that picture on his Android phone. And occasionally he reposts that picture because he thinks it's really funny. And it is. It's pretty funny. How could anyone possibly think this is how you eat corn on the cob? They make those little holders for a reason because you eat it like this, like a typewriter.
You don't eat the holder.
Yes. Yeah. You'd eat the holder if you ate it like this guy.
It's bizarre seeing that. And then people are like, why didn't he make a good decision there? It's like, well, he was trying to tell you in the week before.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Ed, this, you're not even going to believe this. You're going to be like, you're making this up. But when this Caleb Williams, when the NFL draft was happening, and whenever it happens in April or whatever, I was listening to local sports radio here in LA.
Yeah.
And there was a guy on that station that I listened to that was saying that Caleb Williams was so good that he would not only get to select which team could draft him, he would say, oh no, I'm deciding who gets to draft me. But this radio guy also said that Caleb Williams would have to be offered ownership of the team. They're like,
who was floating that? Caleb Williams' camp was
of course, that. Yes. And they're like, yeah, he's so good. Because they're like, well, he's got that NIL money. And I'm like, oh yeah, so he gets what, a couple $1 million a year, but he's gonna take that and decide which team he's going. But apparently I heard he was gonna decide which team he was gonna go to, and he was also gonna own the team. And judging by the way that Bears game ended, like somebody made a big mistake by not giving him an ownership stake, right, Ed? Because he's obviously just a brilliant football mind.
Well, as the team that was picking number 2 that draft, I am very happy that Jaden Daniels slid to number 2.
Pretty good player.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is going on, Ed?
Syracuse upset Miami.
Syracuse.
And after the game, Syracuse football reporter accused the Miami mascot, Sebastian, of hitting on her during the weekend game.
And look.
So, I mean, we've heard of guys shooting their shot.
Yeah.
This guy's dressed like a fucking ibis. And he's like,
why not?
She's pretty cute, and she is cute.
Yeah. Like, what's even I don't get what she's complaining about. Like, she's hot. She probably gets hit on every day. It's not like he's the coach.
Right. He's not actually a bird.
No.
There's a man in there.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I can see. Yeah. I mean, of course he's shooting his shot, like. Hey, I'm the guy
Sebastian.
in the suit. Look at all these push-ups I can do. Hey, when we score a touchdown, I run down there when it happens. Like, yeah, that's me. That's me in the suit. I'm the Ibis over here. Like, come on. I'm Sebastian. That's awesome.
So
Good for him.
I like it. I like the
Yeah, I love it.
confidence.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so
Go on.
the big news in college football
Oh, yeah.
was the game that like a few
Yeah.
people care about, but fuck that game.
Yeah.
Ohio State and Michigan got into a massive brawl because Michigan planted its flag in the middle of the O, and this was the 4th year in a row, and so the Ohio State players started fighting,
Yeah.
and the Ohio State troopers quickly descended upon the brawl and used pepper spray to calm things down, and it was an ugly scene.
That's
To
pretty
calm
wild.
things down was
Yeah.
it was on the ESPN ticker. It said pepper spray was used to calm brawl. It's
Yeah.
like are the police running the ticker?
Yeah.
How does that calm
Exactly.
anything down?
I know. Yeah, when you see that, when they're like protesters disperse, and they just see like people just like they had one. There's one, a
Fire hose.
famous one that was at Berkeley, where they're just like all sitting there protesting whatever, Black Lives Matter, who knows, and they have like industrial size pepper sprays, and they just come fucking hose them all in the face, like, yeah, look, they love using their toys, Ed, like. They couldn't get the sticks out, it's on TV. So they're like, hey, we like using our sticks, can we get the sticks out? Plus they got helmets on. So it's hard to use the sticks on the guys with the helmets. So they're like, plan B, we can't taser them. That would look bad. Plus they got pads and shit.
And
How about
nobody
the
was gonna
spray?
get murdered.
Yes,
Let
of
'em
course
fight.
not.
It's not a good look. Each
Yeah.
coach is gonna have to talk to their players. Even
Yeah. Yeah.
questions need to be asked of Mr. Beard